Hi, I'm Matt, and I'm the teacher.
I'm Ruth, and I'm the athlete.
Basketball skill, offensive movement. Picture of bell basketball, polyspot, sound source, bell wristlet, tactile maps, tactile basketball diagrams, artist's figurine.
Today we're going to be going over the basketball skill of offensive movement. To practice offensive movement, we can use a variety of teaching techniques as well as some adaptive equipment to make sure we fully understand the skill as athletes and teachers. To begin with, we're going to use our tactile map to orient ourselves and our athletes to the general basketball court layout. In my hands, I have our tactile basketball map. It is made accessible using some raised lines on our cardboard, as well as using large print and braille for our large print and braille readers. Ruth and I are going to explore the key features of the basketball court together. So Ruth, here's our basketball court. You'll feel that large rectangle all the way around. That is our boundary line. And then as we kind of move into the middle of the court on each baseline, the short ends of the rectangle, we'll feel the key. That's that smaller rectangle. It's got a circle in the middle representing our hoop. And kind of as we move towards the top, towards the center of our tactile map, we'll feel a little half circle, and that's the top of the key. And then the larger half circle all the way around is the 3-point line. Any questions with our tactile map?
No.
Great.
Use a tactile map to demonstrate gameplay.
So Ruth, we are our two athletes here. So we're standing in the middle of the court, kind of underneath the key towards that one end hoop. So we are standing close together now, and once we practice our offensive movement, we want to be able to create space from each other. So we want to be able to put one of us a little closer to the hoop, okay? So if you want to explore that and feel how we have some space between our two athletes now, that's kind of what we're going for today's skill. Any questions?
No.
Great.
Use a variety of equipment to make the skill accessible for the athlete.
To practice our offensive movement, we can use sound sources similar to that of our teammates using our bell wristlets. The opposing team could also use rattling wristlets to be able to differentiate between each team and each player. To help our athletes orient on the court during gameplay, we can use an audible sound source to put in each hoop or behind each hoop to allow our athletes a continuous target. We use our constant sound source of our beeper that we can put behind each backboard to give our athletes that audible target. To differentiate between each team, we use bell wristlets that members of the same team can wear, and the opposing team could also wear a wristlet that rattles to be able to differentiate between each team. To make basketball more accessible to differentiate the teams, if some athletes have some vision and can tell certain colors apart better than each other, that team should be wearing that color, and the opposing team a separate color.
Use polyspots and a sound source to help guide the athlete through the skill.
To practice our skill of offensive movement, we're going to use polyspots that are high contrast to the gym floor. The gym floor is typically a little lighter, so we'll use some darker colors to be able to provide that contrast. And it'll also give ourselves some tactile markers to be able to aim for as we're practicing our offensive movement.
Use an artist's figurine with the athlete to demonstrate the movement.
So Ruth, I have our artist figurine in our hands. We're going to get into that athletic stance ready position to be able to move kind of all over the court when we need to. So I'll let you explore our artist figurine, and if you have any questions, let me know.
I have no questions so far.
Great. Ruth, to practice our offensive movement, we have our tactile diagram back, and we're going to go over the path that we're going to take to create space between yourself and me. Does that sound good? So we'll explore this map, and we're going to be this first dot kind of towards the middle of the hoop, or the middle of the court, and then we're going to move to the left on the court, up to that second dot. That's going to represent the poly spot on the left, and then we're going to move backwards or forwards to the right, and that's going to be our next spot. And all of that is going to be orienting towards the hoop. That is also going to have an audible sound source to it, so that's the direction we'll move. So here we are at our starting spot. This is where I'm going to stand, and I'm going to have you practice and move along our path, orienting towards the hoop. That's going to be our beeping sound source. to create space for us to be able to get the pass to you and take a shot. This is the first target that I want you to come at. Here's the second location. It's to the right of the first one. And this is the third source that's going to represent our hoop with our sound source. All right, Ruth, so I'm back on your left, and we're going to start towards that left target. And I want you to be able to face me that whole time, okay? Go ahead. So Ruth, I'm behind you. Great, awesome, we'll head to that next target. Awesome, way to stay in ready position. Head towards the hoop. Great.
The skill should increase in difficulty as the athlete progresses.
So that was our basketball skill of offensive movement. Through good teaching techniques, adaptive equipment, and good communication, basketball can be accessible for all visually impaired and blind athletes.
For more, visit the Sports Adaptations page at www.nwaba.org. Thank you for watching. Slide of NWABA logo.